It is 1 o'clock. Welcome back. It's the fourth and final hour of the week. Man, it's been a quick week. Just think, when we come back on Monday morning at 10 a.m., it'll be game week.
There's another reason I love football season. Our weeks just go
zip by.
Yep.
If you're in the Trussville area tonight, stop on by and see me and Molly.
Oh.
You going to be in Trussville tonight? Come
Are
on
y'all,
by.
are you performing a duet at the local?
We can if Coach Floyd wants us to.
Local tavern? Yeah. You have a jamboree game, right?
It's more like an inter scrimmage type deal.
Okay.
You know, not another school's coming, but kind of turn the equipment on, test everything out. Molly has a lot of high standards, a lot of things that we have to meet requirement-wise.
Did you get the air-conditioned trailer for her to?
She needed a bigger trailer from last year.
Yeah.
Pat, I'm glad that you got the list of all of my demands for tonight.
Yeah, we got it.
She wanted the dual sinks with the dual vanity.
Yeah, it's just. She said the lighting wasn't good enough last year.
She's a lot.
Yeah.
I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, that's right.
But she's worth it. Because if she wasn't worth it, we wouldn't have her back.
So tonight, you will spend until the wee hours of the morning. What you will?
No.
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 Are fans coming to this, or
Yes,
is this
absolutely.
just you guys?
No, the whole town's shut down.
It's the whole town going to be there?
It's a big deal.
So it's Huskies versus Huskies.
It's Husky night.
Okay.
Where literally you've got.
Will we learn anything about Hewitt? Is this going to be like all the other games that we see, where Coach Floyd's going to be close to the vest and we're not going to get anything?
I would say you're probably not going to get much. Sorry.
I don't want to see a whole lot of vanilla.
Sorry.
I want to see flair.
1 week away, man. They play next Friday night.
It's hard to believe. Where do you guys play?
At home.
Who do you play?
Jag.
Oh, okay.
From Montgomery.
All right.
Are you on the road?
Yeah.
Sparkman, right?
Yeah.
You're basically in Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's Harvest, right?
That's Harvest. Buckhorn is New Market.
New Market. See, that's another one that I always get. New Market and Harvest. Those are the two that when we had to go play Buckhorn and Sparkman those 2 years that we were in that region.
I know one time Sparkman, they were one of the largest 6As.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
I think that we have.
There's 7A
here in the state.
There's 7A.
Yeah, but we open up there. So why not just go ahead and get the long road trip out of the way until the playoffs?
There you go. Sounds good. I was just reading just a few moments ago. It appears that Vladimir Putin has landed in Anchorage, Alaska.
Ooh.
Kind of a big meeting going on this afternoon.
Well, it could be a long meeting. It could be a short meeting.
Yeah.
The short meeting is not good. You want this thing to is Bob Kraft going to be there asking back for his Super Bowl ring that Vladimir Putin
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
took
that.
from him. He showed it to him, and then Putin put it in his desk.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, earlier today, the University of Michigan, they dodged a big old bullet. No postseason ban for them on the Connor Stallions situation. Jim Harbaugh did get a 10-year.
Putin would love Connor Stallions.
Oh, yeah, he'd love him. Put him in the KGB. 10 years show cause for Jim Harbaugh. 8 years show cause for Connor Stallions. Sharon Moore gets a 2-year show cause, a 3-game suspension. So he's got 2-game suspension this year and then 1 for 2026. And Denard Robinson, former quarterback, he was on the cover of EA College Sports, right?
Yeah.
I forgot what year.
I think so. Denard Robinson, wasn't he the quarterback in Michigan when they opened up with Alabama?
Might have been.
The Saban tenure?
Yeah, might have been. That was in Arlington.
Yeah.
He got a 3-year show cause. So they were just handing out show calls like a Pez dispenser.
3 years for him, 8 for Stallions, and then Harbaugh gets 10.
Gets 10.
Nobody else got a show cause?
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Harbaugh already had a 3 or 4 year show cause because of that hamburger deal. Remember when he bought a hamburger?
Yeah, that's right.
Remember that?
Yes.
Man, he's just all sorts of problems. No wonder he's in the NFL.
He loves it out there. He and the chickens.
Yes.
Living in L.A.
Very much so. Hey, congratulations to Pete Golding. Did you see the news? He got a new 3-year contract extension. He now is the highest paid assistant coach in the Southeastern Conference. A guy that
it's still
people
his
like
fault.
Conrad ran off.
It's still his fault. Who got more blame? Was it Pete Golding or Bill O'Brien?
Oh,
It was Golding.
Pete Golding. Are you kidding me?
It was definitely Golding.
It was funny because when Tosh LaPoy was the defensive coordinator at Alabama,
Yeah.
and LaPoy, everyone was saying he was doing a horrible job. So hey, there's this other defensive assistant that's really he's the brains.
Yeah.
Like he's the guy that's really calling the shots. And then LaPoy left. They, gave Golding the job, and I thought Golding, the numbers supported. I thought Golding did a good job at Alabama. That was always an interesting conversation we'd have on the show. But anyway, he is now going to earn $2.55 million.
Heavens.
He got a $300,000 raise from last year. Not bad, huh? LSU defensive coordinator Blake Baker previously held the mark as the SEC's highest-paid assistant coach after signing a 3-year deal with a flat $2.5 million salary in January of 2024.
Well, when Venables gets fired, he gets hired on as a DC somewhere. He will be the highest paid next year.
Oh, but the good news,
if he gets fired,
the good news continues for Pete Golding. His base salary is going to jump up to $2.6 million in 2026, $2.7 million in 2027, before his contract expires on January 31st, 2028. Now, he still has a ways to go to reach Penn State's defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, who signed a 3-year contract this previous winter. He's making $3.1 million a year as the defensive coordinator for Penn State. So
I remember when the $1 million threshold was eclipsed, and it might have been Kirby that got it. But that was such a big deal.
I didn't realize that Wink Martindale and Ohio State's Matt Patricia, they are now behind Pete Golding and how much they make. Yeah, man, coordinator money. That's good stuff.
And for Golding, it was ideal because you were able to go to a program that had no defense whatsoever. You want to talk about porous.
Yes.
But then a commitment, a financial commitment to go out to get players. You could sell what he could still go and sell what he was able to do at Alabama and the players that he coached to some of those guys. And Ole Miss, let's be honest, they are a lot better on that side of the ball now.
They were the third best defense in the SEC.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Yeah. They gave up 311 yards per game last year. Tennessee and Texas were right ahead of them in the statistical category last year. So, yeah, so good for him. $300,000 raise. Not too shabby.
I worked with his former college coach. He was at Delta State, right?
Delta State, yep.
The Fighting Okra.
Sounds right.
But Coach Rick Rhodes said he was pound for pound the kid that you love to coach. That Pete Golding was great. He thought the world of Pete.
Nick Saban tells the story that Pete Golding was one of the best at getting on a whiteboard and drawing things up. Like he had that mindset. Saban was very complimentary of him. Another reason why he allowed him the opportunity to be the DC.
You know, it was muscle memory. What was funny, I was going to bring it up, was he got so much criticism, and then for the fans who weren't exactly dialed in, you would hear them criticize Pete Golding for Alabama's defense's performance the past weekend, not knowing that he was now at Ole Miss.
You still got blamed for it.
Yeah, that's when you know you're getting too much blame.
All right, so speaking of Ole Miss, so Ole Miss just lost a 4-star linebacker commitment, Isaiah Williams. Now, why am I bringing this up? He has flipped from Ole Miss to Florida State. FSU Dave must have helped out some NIL. Not really sure.
Greased the palm a little bit.
But the reason I bring up this 4-star linebacker, Isaiah Williams, back in November of 2023, he committed to Louisville. So follow the timeline here. In January, just a month and a half later, in 2024, he decommits from Louisville. 3 months later, he commits to Syracuse. 4 months later, he decommits from Syracuse. 2 months after he decommits, he commits in September of 2024 to Florida State. Then he gets to November of 2024. He decommits from the Seminoles. this previous March, he decides, you know what? I'm going to be a Florida Gator. Commits to Florida. He decommits in May away from Florida, commits to Ole Miss. Decommits from Ole Miss, and yesterday he now has pledged his allegiance for the second time to Florida State. So if you're keeping score at home, he's been committed to Louisville, Syracuse, Florida State twice, Florida, and Ole Miss, all within a time frame from November 2023 to August of 2025.
Maybe it's unfair to ask, but I'll ask it. Without knowing any particulars about this human being that you just told me his record, is that a red flag?
I guess for some schools it may. If not, it's about getting his paperwork filed in December on signing day.
So given the timeline that you just gave me, he will decommit from Florida State in November.
Yes.
And commit somewhere else, which will probably be his final destination.
Based on the history of this young man from November of 2023 when he committed to Louisville originally, decommitted in January. By April, he was at Syracuse. By August, he had decommitted. In September of 2024, he was a Seminole, decommitted in November, committed in March to Florida, decommits from Florida, commits to Ole Miss in May of 2025, decommits, and yesterday says, I'm going back to Florida State. So there you go.
If I'm the agent or whoever's putting together his deals, I'm a little bit frustrated at this point. Or maybe it's just copy and paste.
And it's one thing's for
just
sure.
Delete, copy, paste.
This situation is, I'm sure that there's a million of these.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he has something tragic that has happened in his life that's causing this, or he's got issues going on right now off the field. I have no idea. But I wonder if he has a girlfriend. Has he had a long-term girlfriend?
Or he got a certain base bid from Louisville.
Yeah.
Syracuse went $5 over, like the Price is Right. Then he goes to Florida State, gets a deal there, and decommits in November because the Gators give him a better deal. And then Lane Kiffin comes in, and Pete Golden said, hey, we can do better than Florida. He gets that deal, and then Florida State says, well, we're going to circle back because Norvell changed the whole defensive staff. I mean, he's a linebacker. So
I'll tell you what it was. Guarantee you. It was, you know what, guys, this is how we're going to seal the deal with this kid. Nobody's brought this up. Why have we not brought this up? He's not going to have to pay state income tax.
Good point.
You point out the tax benefits to this kid.
So he has now been committed.
Because at this point, he's got all the swag he needs.
3 times to a school that had no state income tax. I assume that Kentucky, and I know the state of New York has.
If I'm Norvell, I'm like, look, you're committed, you're all in, you're holding the flag, and you're leading us out of the tunnel against Alabama.
Yes. 1-800-239-WJOX. Let's go to BB. She wants to join the frivolity here on a Friday.
Hey, BB.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're great. How are you?
Are you there?
Yeah, we're great. We're just sitting under a pavilion.
I know. I was hearing all those sirens, wondering when you guys are going to be slapped in bracelets and hauled off.
We are literally a long pass away from the Birmingham Fire and Rescue Service, Fire Station number 2.
Thank you, first responders. Waving at them right now.
Yeah, they've been busy this morning.
They
A
have been.
lot going on down there.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say I can't be more excited about going into the starting week of football. Last Saturday was our Chelsea blue and white day,
Right.
like your Trustbill
Husky
Jubilee
night?
coming up.
Yeah, was it Hornet night? Was that what they called it?
It was, Hornets blue and white day, all day affair, and it's so much fun. The whole community comes out, and I just have to tell you, Pat, my 6th grader, his team, which effectively that's still a rec team, they played Trustville in their game last Saturday and beat the poop out of them.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Just watch out for Chelsea. And the last I heard, we were supposed to have a scrimmage tomorrow with Helena, and they backed out because they were afraid of it.
Afraid?
So Chelsea's coming.
Oh, wow.
Go Hornets.
BB talking smack in football
love
season.
it.
I love it. It's fantastic.
I love
great.
it. It's such a great time. You all have a great weekend and enjoy your night tonight, Pat.
Thank you, BB. Thank you so much. You too. Hope you have a
Thanks.
nice weekend. Very much.
I'll enjoy it from the comforts of my couch, my air conditioning.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Is he on the water, Molly? Where is he? Okay, Don.
Don.
Yeah, Don. He's about to go on a cruise. Or he might be on the cruise.
What's up? Not yet, Pat. What's up, guys?
Are you in Key West? Where are you? Or New Orleans? Where are you departing from?
No. I'm still here in Birmingham.
Greyhound station.
PG's put together a little send-off party for all of us today, and several people.
You guys party more than anybody.
You find more excuses to have get-togethers and parties than any group I've ever been around.
Well, I mean, you know, we're a fun group, and you can. Hey, Pat, if this is all y'all's fault, y'all created this monster group that I'm a part of, and I love being a part of it. Social Taco Tuesday is what did this. That our listening crew. Now, if I can get FSU Dave there, I'll be shocked. Okay.
What's FSU Dave doing? Is he like watching old Charlie Ward videotapes at his house? Like what's he doing?
No, he's trying. He gave up PG hell because Florida State beat Florida in the sport that nobody cares about, soccer. Okay.
Oh
Everything.
boy!
But
So
no,
when
I
you
wanna
getting on the
know-
boat? When you heading south?
Sunday afternoon, buddy, and I plan on calling you guys. You know, I talked to you about this already. I'm planning on calling y'all from the beaches of Key West on Tuesday.
That sounds great. Well,
But
Don,
I
great
wanted
to
to
Do
hear
it from
you.
the most southern point. Do it there. It's
Well, no, Lander, we got a cabana rented on the beach already for the complete day on Tuesday. But I promise I'll keep all the pictures clean, guys. Okay, I will.
sure.
But
You will.
hey, Pat, can you believe that they're letting Michigan off this easy?
I mean, unfortunately, I can, Don. I was not anticipating them getting hammered, but I was kind of hopeful that I would be proven wrong, but I wasn't. But yeah, it's just the way the world is now in the NCAA.
Well, you know that $20 million, that deadgum billionaire that bought Underwood, he'll pay the whole $20 million for him probably.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, listen, they had that $20 million in an account ready to be transmitted to the NCAA immediately. Like that was.
Oh, absolutely.
They're just laughing. I mean, they're having
Okay.
parties galore in Ann Arbor today.
Okay, well, real quickly, guys, I just want to tell y'all thank you for everything, and I am gonna. It's kind of breaking my heart. I'm not gonna be able to be there next Thursday, but Pat, Landrum, Molly, and I thank you guys for everything, man. Y'all have got our family, our Social Taco family. We are a family, and guys, it's all because of y'all. So thank y'all very much.
Well, Don, that's very
Thanks,
kind of you
Don.
to say, but it's you, the listeners, that make that event. So we appreciate you, and have a good weekend. Thank you so much. We will continue with your calls. We're going to talk to Alex Mortensen, the offensive coordinator for UAB. He's coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're live at UAB Football on Jocks.
122, three-man front, live from UAB. Appreciate Coach Dilfer, Ted Feely, all of those involved hosting us as our college football campus tour comes to a close. We're just 8 days away from the start of the college football season. Speaking of football season, no better place to win cash while watching sports. You can join millions of users. Sign up today with our friends at Prize Picks. It's really simple. You download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WJOX to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even have to win. That's code WJOX to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's really simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projection. If you get your picks right, you can cash in, win up to 2,000 times your money. Tonight we will go professional baseball. I don't really trust the NFL preseason in doing some of these, right? You just don't know, how long these guys are going to play. It's just really tough. So we will go baseball because there are some teams that are eyeing the playoffs, and they're still playing for something, right? All right, I'm going to need your help on this, Pat. If I go, let's go William Contreras, catcher, Milwaukee Brewers.
Wilson's brother.
Wilson's brother. Runs, hits, RBI. Just a combination of all three. Does he go more or less than 1.5?
More.
All right. We're going more on that. Next, I will go pitcher strikeouts. Mackenzie Gore. Taking on the Phillies. 6.5, more or
Where are
less.
they playing?
They are playing at home in Washington, in D.C.
Okay. What was the
6.5 strikeouts. Mackenzie Gore, Nationals taking on Phillies.
less?
Does he strike out more or less?
Less.
You say less than 6.5 strikeouts. All right, if both of those projections with Contreras and Gore, they hit, I'm a winner. You can be a winner too. Download the Prize Picks app. Once again, code WJOX. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code WJOX. We appreciate our friends at Prize Picks. Can't wait for football season to start.
Let's go back to the phones at 1-800-239-WJOX. Robert wants to chime in on this player that I was telling you has decommitted 5 times so far in his early career. Hey, Robert.
Yeah, I was just talking about the serial speed commitment man there. It kind of reminded me of, I don't know how knowledgeable you are about your history, but during the Civil War, especially when the war got pretty advanced, especially in the northern states, the various state regimes would offer recruitment bonuses to entice men to join the Union Army. Those were back in the day. If you had $20 in your pocket, you were rich. And these guys, they had apparently quite a scam going on. Guys would sign up to get the recruiting bonus, and then a couple of days later skip out and go to another state and do the same thing there. The only trick was you just had to get your bonus and get out before you got shot.
Wow. Never heard of that, but it would not surprise me.
Oh, that was a very adventurous time.
No doubt.
Well, thank you for the phone call. We appreciate it. Thanks
thank
for
you, Robert.
listening. Yep.
Thank
Robert,
you. Okay, have a good day.
you as
too.
well.
Thank you, sir.
Didn't realize that. I'm going from state to state back then. That would have been tough. Well, in some cases. I guess you go to the borders and you just cross over.
Yeah.
I was thinking travel. Logistically, it might be an issue.
I am still waiting word from Auburn. Remember last week had the same.
Yeah.
It's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Alabama tomorrow.
Is the young person that took the video that had to take it down, or are they at practice today?
I don't know, but it was. I was just really amazed at the number of people around the Southeastern Conference that was texting me yesterday and last night about that situation. And I hate to sound like a broken record. And listen, I'm the first person that would love to dance with more hyperbole than maybe is necessary at times. But what is the big deal about a coach throwing his visor in a practice?
Zero.
I just didn't understand that. I don't know. Maybe it's because so many people around the Southeastern Conference, whether it's SEC Mike or other people on the western side of the conference that just aren't Hugh Freeze fans, and they're looking for something at any point in time to ding him.
Well, if anything, I would say that Hugh Freeze usually doesn't show a whole lot of emotion. His press conferences, he doesn't.
I liked how yesterday he acted surprised that they saw him throw his visor. I'm like, really, Coach? Like, everybody's there detailing every single second and move made by every player, and then the coach throws his visor. You think that somebody's not going to pay attention to that?
Yeah. David in Pelham, he texted in and he says, I hope Coach DeBoer doesn't rip off his hood from his hoodie and throw it. Lord knows that's a sign of a terrible football team. Thank you, David.
What if he's out there with a collared shirt? Now, the videos I've seen, I think he's wearing the same attire he wore last year.
He's not going to cave yet.
Nah.
Joseph says, I would really love to come see y'all, but my route or route? Which way do you go?
I go route.
Ends at 14th Street.
Oh.
Asking, when are we going to do a remote in 5 Points?
We're close. Oh, if these fields could talk, Landrum. If the Ullman building right there could talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would they say about Pat Smith?
That I would leave class early.
Yeah.
And go about 5 blocks that way to the fraternity house and not go to class.
You and Andy Kennedy?
Andy, yeah. Matter of fact, that was the that's where Andy and I had history. Was the old man. Speaking of Andy, the University of Alabama Board of Trustees, they are meeting today. And I anticipate that the Board of Trustees is going to advance a contract extension for Andy Kennedy.
Sure.
So keep your eyes out for that. I think that will happen today, probably in the next 30 minutes or so. I think the board is meeting at 1:30. So they will meet, and I believe Andy will be rewarded. He has done an incredible job here at UAB.
No doubt. I think this year's going to be a special year.
Yep. So yeah, it's just news galore here on the South Side.
This text comes in. It says, I know if it's off topic, but how cool was it back in the day tailgating, watching games back at Legion Field?
It was cool. It was also cool watching some of my fraternity brothers that played on some of those first UAB football teams literally taping themselves up in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
When Jim Hillier was the head coach.
Yeah.
And Jim's wife was one of the coaches. She was a special teams. She was a kicking coach.
Early memory is a fan going to an Iron Bowl, parking in some family's yard that we paid them to park in, but we got the bonus, and they had prepared a lot of food inside, and for an extra fee, you could go and tailgate inside the home.
I mean, who did not like going to Legion Field and parking in a total stranger's front yard? Who did not enjoy that?
Hey.
And not knowing whether your car was going to be there when you came out.
I told you this. I went to the bowl game with my family, and my stepdad, he had this old long car, and it probably, no kidding, weighed 3 tons. It was just real heavy, just one of the older cars. We parked it. We came back. Car was gone.
Car was gone?
Gone. Was moved like the equivalent of 8 spots over. They were making room because it was so long. They put 2 cars in.
So they picked the car up?
We don't know, Pat, to this day, how the car was moved.
That's great.
Yeah. Doors were still locked. Trunk was down.
They had to have picked
no
it
windows.
up.
Had to have.
Yeah. Wow. What a great story.
And perfectly parked it somewhere else.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah. When we come back on three-man front, the offensive coordinator of UAB, Alex Mortensen, he is going to join the program. That's next from the South Side. It is 1:35. Welcome back. This is three-man front as we are wrapping up our campus tour. We're at UAB today. Thanks to Coach Trent Dilfer for hosting us here on site. We were able to watch practice this morning and able to have a long discussion with not only Coach Dilfer but Coach Russ. And now we're joined by the offensive coordinator of UAB, Alex Mortensen. Coach, welcome to the program. Thanks.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
You missed in the introduction the guy who taught Nick Saban everything he knows.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Were you ever on the other end of one of those nice butt chewings by Coach Saban?
Of course I was. Yeah, I think anyone that worked there at some point you had one or multiple. But when I got there, I was a graduate assistant coach, and the way he did the GA, so I'm an offensive GA. I work with the quarterbacks, and I work with the receivers some. But I'm in the quarterback meetings. I'm with those guys all the time. But when you get to the season, I'd go through meetings with the quarterbacks, with the coordinator, and then we would go to the field, and I'd be with them in individual. But then when we got to scouted periods, his philosophy was the GAs should trade. So I would go to the defensive field, so I'm coaching the offensive scout team, and I'm coaching offensive players. And so, well, guess who else is over there? Coach Saban just so happens to be on the defensive field. So, yeah, so I certainly got, if things weren't right over there, he's going to hold you accountable for that in his way, and which was great. It was a great experience to see him coach and teach, and I certainly have some fun stories from that too. And then he gave me a pretty good one in youth camp one year.
Youth camp.
Youth camp. So, which he coached youth camp like it was a Super Bowl. I mean, he really put a lot of effort into it. And this is like 14 and under. Did a great job coaching these kids. Like he really did, and it was awesome to see. But there's like 1,200 kids usually at youth camp, and one of the periods is we would do a 2-on-2, receivers versus DBs drill, and it was sometimes it was 3-on-2 depending on what coverage they're playing. Well, I want to do a good job for Coach Saban. I want to do a good job for the camp. So my whole thing was like, hey, keep the tempo of the drill running fast.
Right.
And so I'm helping organize the offensive side, so I'm getting it going as fast as I can. I am paying no attention to the defense. None. And then he turns around and accuses me of calling out-breaking routes when they're playing inside leverage man. And I'm like, Coach, of course I didn't say this, but I'm like, I have no idea what you're in on defense over there right now. This is 13-year-old youth camp. But he got after me pretty good then, too. So that was one of the funnier ones. I will say, and I apologize for getting a little long-winded, but
you're good.
A year later, same part of camp. So now I'm paying attention, and I'm doing the opposite. I find out the defense is playing inside leverage man technique, so I'm running in breaking routes, make it as hard for the offense as I can, and then when they change the leverage, I'm running out breaking routes. And so I asked Derek Ansley one time, I said, hey, what are you guys in here? Because I lost track. And Coach Saban looked at me. He goes, why do you care what we're in? I said, Coach, I want to make sure we're not throwing out breaking routes in a blitz coverage. And he got the biggest smirk on his face, and he chuckled a little bit. And I said, "Okay, he remembers." So he had a good sense of humor about it. But yeah, there were plenty of those.
You got fall camp number 3 for you officially here at UAB. I'm not going to ask you to compare to the previous 2 seasons, but this group in particular, what do you like so far?
Love the intangibles of the group first. I feel like they're a lot of selfless guys, a lot of team guys, and a very hard-working group. That their practice effort's been really good, and so that would be the thing I really like. And I think every team is going through this challenge right now with the transfer portal of adding a lot of new guys to your team quickly. And I think you're trying to get them caught up on scheme and technique and your verbiage and all those things, but there's also this other thing of how quickly can you create chemistry and bond and play for each other and become a team and become one. And so that to me is, again, we haven't played a game. We haven't faced real adversity yet, so let's not count our chickens before they hatch in that regard. But right now that part feels really good to me. That's been my favorite part.
How do you feel about your QB1? Put up some great numbers last year. How has his fall camp been so far? You like his progression?
Really like Jalen Kitna's progression a lot. Jalen came to us and actually had not played a lot of football. Had not played football in a while, and then even then had not played a lot of college football. And so, he kind of got thrust out there in the middle of the season, and I think he was had some highs, made some spectacular plays, and also had some lows too. But I think his playing experiences really served him well and helped him, and he's learned from that. And he's a very talented guy. He's got a live arm. He's a student of the game. He's got some. For a long guy, he's got some fast twitch, some quick twitch qualities. So we were really pleased with him, and and looking forward to getting into a game week and really honing on a game plan. But he's done a really good job.
Has he naturally become, organically, I guess, a vocal team leader?
I think to a degree he has naturally, and but he kind of does it his own way. He's not, he's not an angry guy. He's not a confrontate. I think he's able to have tough conversations when he needs to have them, but he's more of a guy that I think his teammates like him. I think they're drawn to him. I think he'll go have a side conversation with them if they need to fix something, and all these quarterbacks, the great quarterbacks, they all have different personalities, and I think he's kind of found his own way to do that. I really do.
In regards to, we talked to a couple of your offensive weapons this year. In regards to your running back, so you feel very good about what you have in that offensive line built behind him.
Yeah, we really do. Like the offensive line a lot. It's been. That's a position group that we added, a variety of guys over the course of May and through the summer. And so we've been trying to get them up to speed, one, trying to teach them and help them develop in our system. And then 2, figure out, okay, what's the best combination of, maybe it's not 5, maybe it is, maybe we do play 6 or 7.
Right.
And then where do they need to play? Left or right, inside or outside? So that's been a challenge to try to accelerate, putting that puzzle together. But we really like the guys. Again, when you asked me earlier what we like about this team, guys being hardworking, selfless, tough, like I think about that group that way. I really do. And they've been really positive, in their approach to work. So I'm really optimistic about, the offensive line from that standpoint and the leadership we can have there.
You're replacing talent, some speedsters from last year, the wide receiving core,
Yeah.
guys that could make plays, and we saw it. You got some guys coming back. What does that particular room look like? What do you like about the wide receiver group this season?
Well, I think you did hit the nail on the head. I mean, a lot of these guys do need to go prove it in a game, right? And they need to go play in games and compete in games. But I do think we have good movement skills. I do think we have some guys that can run in there. So you mentioned losing some speed. I think we do have some speed. I think we've recruited some. I think we've had some here that we've developed that's been on campus for some time. And then we've got some guys that have really good short space quickness that you get the ball in their hand or you get them in a short area. They're tough to get down or tough to cover. So I think the room's got a good mix of it's kind of like putting a basketball team together sometimes, we're not real big, but we do have some bigger, thicker, stronger guys that can do some of those things. We've got some guys that can stretch the field vertically, and we got some guys that play really good in a short area. So I think the room is pretty well-rounded, I guess is the best way I could say it.
In regards to how this game has changed since you have been a GA to where you are now in your career, is it just amazing to look at how much the defensive schemes have changed and what you have to do to change yourself in regards to the way that you design your offense?
Yeah, I think, the game obviously changes, evolves. Some people would say it's even cyclical, because you have trends.
Right.
People adapt and then trends come back. And, it probably is a little bit different. And I would say even go back to like when I was in college, it's really changed a lot. When, if you looked, a lot of people played in two receivers in the game at a time, and people didn't spread out as much, and people didn't play at the line of scrimmage, no huddle as much. So the pre-snap operation has changed, and then the post-snap style of play is different. And I think, it's interesting you asked about when I was a GA. I GA'd in 2014 was my first year at Alabama, and we were kind of going through a transition where, we were going to change philosophically a little bit. And, at that time, Coach Saban was moving the offense to play a little faster and play a little more spread out and move the tight end around a little more and do some different things. And then, he was also in a conference where, you had Manziel for a couple of years. Auburn had, was fast. And so, Hugh Freeze was at Ole Miss. So, you watched him adapt his defense as well in terms of recruitment, body type, scheme. So, some of that stuff has been going on for, a decade or so, some of those things. But, that being said, there is a little bit of a pendulum that can swing because it swings over here. Defenses get lighter and faster. You have to ask yourself, are there some advantages to putting two tight ends on the field and running downhill and getting under center and having actions off of those things that people don't see regularly as
Right.
much. And there's usually on offense, there's an advantage sometimes to being different, right? You play one of these triple option teams, you don't practice against it all the time. It's different, right? And so, you've got to play to the strengths of your team first and foremost. But I think anytime you can play to the strengths of your team, be sound, be creative, but be a little bit different than everybody. So I guess as you see the trends, you got to ask yourself, will the pendulum swing back a little bit at some point?
Right.
UAB offensive coordinator Alex Mortensen joining us here on Three-Man Front on the Higginbotham Hotline. Got to ask you this. I don't know if you saw it. You've probably been so dialed in. But an offensive coordinator for Hugh Freeze made some comments the other day about the play calling, who was assigned to what duties. I'm not asking you to step in it here. But as far as people who have influence on calls, it's you. There's a collaboration. Obviously, the offensive coordinator, Coach Dilfer, he's got an idea schematically, philosophically, what he wants to do. But as far as calling plays, is it you for three downs? I know that you guys confer on certain downs, or is it by association or by committee?
We've been here 2 seasons, and we've done it differently at different times. That's maybe something Coach Dilfer would want to talk about more. I mean, But it has, we've collaborated. There's been times I've done it, or long stretches where I've done it, and then he's had oversight, and he'll step in and say, hey, let's use a gadget here. I think you got to think play pass here, where I'll take the lead. And then there's been times, where he's called the games too. So we've done over 2 years, we've done both, and we've, talked a lot this offseason about how do we get the best of both of us. What does that look like? And I think, the calling of the game is one thing, and I do believe it's important. I think, how you call a game is important. There's no question. I tend to think Monday through Friday is more important, in terms of the preparation, the planning, what are we going to do? And then a lot of times, if you prepared properly, a lot of your calls are kind of, predestined to some extent, and you always reserve the right to change it based on feel of the game, the opponent adjusts. Maybe there's a matchup that's going better than you thought, maybe one that isn't going so well. But a lot of it, I think, the best systems I've been around, a lot of it is done during the week, and so I think us trying to figure out, okay, how do we have the best process Monday through Friday to prepare for the game and put a plan together is really even more important than game day.
What's the cutoff point for getting a play in? What with time on the clock, you say, hey, I want to run rip zip laser, and he says no, let's go ground and pound left.
Right.
When do you guys? When's the cutoff point? Do you have a natural time on the clock?
Yeah. Well, the times when I've taken the lead, he kind of just lets me go, and then as quickly as he can, he'll chime in and say, think about this, or he'll try to get to me between a series. And say, hey, you ought to think about slipping this in at some point. Here's what I'm seeing. When he's taking the lead, then a lot of times I would rather maybe interject in between a series as well. So sometimes there's not a lot of deliberation. And, you go back Bill Walsh, who's a famous, head coach of the 49ers that won the Super Bowls. They did he was famous for his opening script, and he used to script, I think 12, and eventually became 20, 25 plays where you'd plan your openers and you kind of stay on them until you get to a third down or until you get to the red zone, you get into a special situation. And so that's a way to do it too. So a lot of times when you've really planned well and you've scouted your opponent well, you've kind of, like I said, you've kind of already done it. So there's not a lot of deliberation on the headset about what the next call is. You kind of know what you're going to. You know
what we're going to run first play against Alabama State already?
I don't know that.
That is Alex Mortensen, the offensive corner at UAB. Coach, great to talk to you. Great to have you come by and spend
You're a
some
great
time with
storyteller, by the way.
I don't know if I'm a great storyteller.
No,
but
you are.
There are some good stories out there from those years.
I hope you'll come back.
Love that. Love to come back anytime.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach. More from UAB football. This is Jock's three-man front. I want to thank everyone here at UAB, their hospitality, Coach Trent Dilfer, Ted Feely, Sports Information Director, all the coaches, players. Andy, thank you. Everyone, their hospitality, we appreciate it very much. Kind of make this a tradition every year, being able to come down here and witness practice as they get ready to – it's going to be here before you know it, a week from Thursday.
Well, like Pat said, it'll be football before we know it, so that means it's almost time for the Bill Smith Buick GMC Jocks kickoff party. It's going to be at Regions Field on Thursday, August 21st, and the only way to go is by winning tickets. And it's important because today is the last day to qualify to enter to win a pair of tickets. So if you do want to win some tickets, text the keyword FINAL and your full name to 205-834-9450. Once again, the final keyword is FINAL. Text that and your name to 205-834-9450. Winners are drawn and notified daily, and for more information, visit jocksfm.com.
So coming up Monday on the show, we'll have full recaps over the scrimmages from the weekend, including today's scrimmage down at Auburn. For the Auburn Tigers, will be scrimmage number 2. Alabama, they'll be scrimmaging tomorrow at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So we'll get some more information that we will share with you guys on Monday, on Reaction Monday. Conrad will be back. We'll have the full gang, as will be game week, as we'll be getting ready for Farmageddon in Dublin, as that will kick off the college football season. I'm excited this weekend because I am going to carve out some time to get on my R-Tech tractor. That's right, my zero turn. R-Tech tractor just north of Jasper on Highway 5. Get by and see Jeremy, Greg, and the guys. They're going to take great care of you. And right now, if you're in the market, you need some fluids or some filters, how about the sale they're having until the end of September? That's all oil filters and air filters, engine oil and hydraulic oil, 15% off there at Artec Tractor. Don't forget Toro, Cub Cadet, Gravely, Bobcat, Spartan, residential to commercial grade mowers. How about tractors, Mahindra and Bobcat? Go by and see them, artectractor.com, just north of Jasper, Highway 5.
Most significant improvement you're going to see in the fall is between scrimmages 1 and 2. I don't know if that's the truth, but coming up Monday will be Reaction Monday. We'll react to Auburn's scrimmage reports we get from the Plains, Alabama. Coming up tomorrow, scrimmage number 2 for Kalen DeBoer and the Tide there in Tuscaloosa. And, of course, we'll keep tabs here on UAB as they are doing a light walkthrough after morning practices this morning. From all of us, all of you, have a great, happy, and safe weekend. We want to see you here on Monday. God is great. Have a great weekend.